seats, we'll get started again. All right, we'll call the meeting back to order with agenda item number 8, Nevada Aquatic Invasive Species Management Plan. John Shaw and Wildlife Staff Karen Vargas for the Species Management Plan to provide guidance, control, and prevention programs, coordination, and effective efforts in Nevada and regionally through establishment of an interagency Nevada AIS working group. The Commission may take action to approve the final AIS plan, which will for modification of the draft AIS plan from the Commission's June 23rd, 24th meeting, and other comments received from the public. These changes will be presented during the meeting. Mr. Schobert.
It took me a minute to find the magic spot. For the record, John Schobert, Chief of Fisheries, Nevada Department of Wildlife. Thank you, Chairman Wallace and Commissioners. I want to give just a little brief background introduction. I'll hand this over to Karen Vargas, our Wildlife Staff Specialist and AIS Coordinator for the Nevada Department of Wildlife. We did present this initial draft plan at the June Commission meeting for your review and comment. We received comments from the Commission and the public at that time. It's also been available to the individual county wildlife boards, both in June and this month in August, for any public comments they might receive. We received just a few comments in the previous review of the plan, which we're incorporating, and Karen will discuss those. One issue that we've had was that this plan actually, after approval of the board here and signature by the governor, approval and signature by the governor, actually is finally approved by the National AIS Task Force. They had an opportunity to review the plan. We had been waiting patiently for their comments. We expected to have those in early July. I think as a general statement of the dysfunction of a lot of the federal advisory boards right now, we actually didn't receive their comments until a couple of weeks ago. At that point, it was too late to incorporate all those into the version that was put out as support material because of certain deadlines. So Karen will discuss those changes that are being made as a result of those comments from the National Task Force. In general, those comments are not major. Most of them were editorial. There were only a couple of them that really were substantive, and she can discuss that. So with that, I will go ahead and hand this over to Karen, and we have a presentation that will discuss the current state of the draft plan and where we're at, and then how the Commission wants to proceed. Thank you.
For the record, Karen Vargas, Nevada Department of Wildlife. John kind of went over my whole presentation, so, but we have a few slides here. Basically, let's see. We did.
Karen, I hate to interrupt you. I just wanted to, I was looking out here and I see some people sitting out in the hallway. I do see some open seats still in here. Okay, I just wanted to make sure everyone was welcome in here and they didn't think they had to sit in the hallway. Thank you. Go ahead, Karen, I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, the AIS management plan is supposed to be about a 5-year plan, and I want everybody to keep that in mind as we go forward. It is the first one, for those of you who know nothing about this, it is the first one the state of Nevada has put together. We did that through an AIS working group consisting of about 16 state, federal, and stakeholders over the past year, where we got together, figured out what we wanted in the plan, what we wanted to exempt. From that point, we submitted the first draft in June to the CABs and the commissioners, and looking for public comment. And then at the same time, The draft also went out to the Aquatic Nuisance Species Task Force. They are they are made up of 13 federal agencies and about 15 other members. For example, TRPA is a member of the task force. So when I say ANS task force, that's who I'm talking about. There are numerous federal agencies. It's EPA, Fish and Wildlife Service, NOAA, etc. They gave us the majority of the comments, as John was mentioning earlier. It was about 10 to 20 pages, but most of them were quite minor, but it still takes a long time to get through them. This just shows the task force. They have regional, we're actually a part of the Western Regional Panel. They oversee these panels. They have to basically approve all the plans for anybody that submits an AIS management plan. They have to approve it. I suppose if they don't approve it, if the governor signs it, Nevada still would have a plan, but we prefer that the task force sign off on it, and it'll also bring us some additional grant money to have that approved plan. So the major comments, as I mentioned, as John mentioned, most of them were minor. Clarification on definitions. They requested additional Nevada maps. One of them they wanted was land ownership. I've been working with our GIS people, and they have put together, this isn't the final one, but that's what they're looking for, things like that. Tribal reservations in Nevada, BLM land, etc. They also wanted additional narrative on a lot of clarification, additional background information on laws and federal laws, etc. And then the other thing is, and these are comments by a lot of people, that working with other regional state AIS plans was one of the big ones that I think came from several different sources. What we have changed or are planning to change, I expect it's only going to be another 5 to 10 days before we're finished up with the final document, and then I'll have to go in for formatting. But basically, we did incorporate regional reciprocity, which was a concern of some of the local cabs. We have incorporated that into both the executive summary as a priority action item to be implemented, and also in the implementation table as an action item. So we've gone into reciprocity in 3 different areas to make sure that that is covered. We also included that we'd work with the state of California and other states for that matter, and other entities to work out a shared station at Topaz Lake, reciprocity for Lake Tahoe and Donner Lake programs. At least we are going to begin to work on them. It's not to say it's going to happen. It may take some time before it happens. Another major component is, this is mostly from the task force, is they looked at how much work is in the plan and said, you can't do this. Basically, it's going to take a lot more people. And before we had just left it at the AIS Management Plan Committee. Now, and they're right, most of the states have done this. They bring together all your stakeholders in more of a council type of team to implement the plan. And considering Nevada is mostly federally owned, I think that that's accurate. So we did. It was just part of what we were trying to do to begin with, but it's very time consuming to bring that many people together all the time. But hopefully it is a major change in the implementation table itself. So another comment from the task force was develop tools to evaluate the plan's success and failures. Basically, that's just another action item that said we're going to develop the tools. I didn't go into specifics on it because that's something that the team, the AIS management team, would put together on specifics on how they want to do that. The other thing, they wanted us to select our top, actually they asked for the top 10 strategy action items in the implementation table that we could do or fulfill hopefully within the next 12 to 18 months. I narrowed that down to 5 strategies, and basically it's to keep the AIS coordinator employed and to establish the AIS leadership team, to continue implementation of our watercraft and inspection program. Reciprocity, of course, is part of that, and a large component of outreach to inform the public about AIS issues, including the aquarium trade, and that's in addition to our watercraft inspection stations. The other one is the early detection and monitoring program to establish those programs further, which will take the team to pull all of that together. So with that said, once the commission approves it, it goes to the Governor Sandoval for signature. He actually submits it to the task force for approval, and we hope that the governor can sign off on it and submit it to the task force the first part of September. So that's all I have. If anybody has any questions or comments.
Questions from the commission for Ms. Vargas? Seeing none, thank you very much. Comments or discussion from the commission? All right, I'll take it out to public comment. This is an action item. Public comment on agenda item number 8, Nevada Aquatic Invasive Species Management Plan. Come on up, Paul.
For the record, Paul Dixon, Clark Cab. The Clark Cab unanimously supported going forward with the plan as presented, but they had a couple of questions that they would like to know if could be answered at some point from the department. One is, do we have inspection stations for bodies of water where no quagga mussel issues are known? So like when you head into some other states, you fill out a questionnaire. When you go into the state carrying a boat, you have to pull over. If you go to Utah and fill out stuff and do things. And they were wondering, because right now we have inspection stations at known places, what are we doing to know that people who are transporting a boat through our state did pick up quagga mussels somewhere else and do stuff, even if they have, or is it part of the invasive species decal program? But I guess I'm just not familiar enough with it, could not answer. And basically, do we always know that when boats come in, because of what we're doing, are they bringing in clean boats? So if somebody comes in with a boat and puts it in a clean waterway, do we know that it's actually clean? So we were asking those kind of questions, and part of it may be enforcement, part of it may be just logistics of people, but as part of your task force and other things we're working on, those sorts of things are going to eventually end up being what drives the success or failure of this program in containing quagga mussels, as an example. Thank you.
Mr. Schoberg.
For the record, John Schober, Chief Fisheries, we can address a couple of Paul's questions pretty quickly. Our current program really is, it's a two-part program. Part of it is containment, which is focused on Lake Mead, Lake Mojave, and the Colorado River, where we currently have quagga mussels, and it represents a really high risk for the rest of the state. And the second part of the program is prevention, which addresses the rest of the state. Obviously, even with a relatively limited number of water bodies in Nevada that you can take boats to, the pilot also includes paddlecraft and non-motorized watercraft as well. But at the same time, even under the best circumstances, we have relatively limited resources. What we focus on is high-use waters, where we feel that we have the highest risk of watercraft coming to those waters either from the Colorado River system or from other locations. So we do have a network of ramp-based inspection stations at key reservoirs around the state. That includes Rye Patch, Lahontan, South Fork, and some other locations. Those focus on incoming watercraft. We also have some rover positions that frequent less used waters, and they can't be there all the time, but they can hit peak weekends and peak use periods with a portable decontamination unit. And we also have 2 roadside stations that are specifically designed to intercept watercraft that either may be moving from an infested water or be moving from that water through Nevada to another state. And again, we don't have a system similar to California or even Utah where we have agricultural inspection stations at the borders that are convenient, to be able to flag down all the boats and make sure they get inspected. It's a little bit more of a challenge. But for example, this year we set up a highway station in Alamo on Highway 93, which is an excellent location because it's north of any incoming traffic from southern Nevada coming from different directions. And it basically intercepts any watercraft that are headed either north into central and eastern and northern Nevada or into Idaho and the Pacific Northwest through the Highway 93 corridor. If they're going on 95, they're probably go through California and they'll get picked off, and they have gotten picked off at California agricultural inspection stations. And Tahoe has a very tight net of their own on Lake Tahoe. But unfortunately, the resources we have, we can't be everywhere at once. But we do have the network of stations as we also have a second roadside station on the Mountain City Highway north of Elko, specifically designed to protect wild horse and another pathway into the Pacific Northwest. So as we build resources, we can expand that, but we feel that given what we have, we've tried to set up as effective the network as we can. In terms of vessels coming from other states, hopefully we catch them at the point of contact that we already have. Although we probably should be concerned about other bad things coming into Lake Mead. At this point, our resources are focused on what's leaving. And there's some unique challenges there working with the Park Service in terms of where and how we can intercept boats within Lake Mead National Recreation Area. But another big part of this is the regulation that was approved by the Commission last fall and is now implemented in regulation, which is the requirement that any watercraft in the state of Nevada has to have any removable drain plugs removed and all water drained from that watercraft before it's moved on a public highway. And that in and of itself is a huge help in making sure that things don't get either moved out of somewhere on an otherwise clean-looking boat, or that may be moving from water to water that we may not even know is infested yet. So I think we have some strategies in place, and as we build resources, we'll be expanding those. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schoberg. Further public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for further discussion or a motion to move the AIS plan forward. Discussion or comments from the commission? Commissioner McNinch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just first of all, I'm going to make a motion here in a sec, but I just want to say how much I appreciate. I know how much work goes into these things, and a year's a long time to have your nose to the grindstone with your stakeholders, and you guys, you and your staffs did a great job of putting it together. So I appreciate that. So with that in mind, then I would move to approve the Nevada Aquatic Invasive Species Management Plan at the commission level.
Second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner McNinch, and I believe second by Commissioner Hubbs. Is everyone clear on the motion? I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 8-0 with Commissioner Young still absent. And I think at this point, we'll,
Mr. Chairman?
yes.
If I may follow up on that agenda item, I too would like to express my gratitude to Karen Vargas. I know her time at the department may be somewhat limited. I'm not announcing her pending retirement plans, but I did want to take advantage of an opportunity. I don't know how much longer she's going to be around, but this was a significant undertaking, and this is kind of a culmination of a program that she has stood up from virtually nothing, and she's taken it upon herself. She's been integral in the regulation, the drain plug regulation, the AIS stickers, And as we saw here just now in asking for public comment, we see none. This isn't one of those hot button issues that people get excited about and emotional over, but it is significant to our state in multiple ways, not only in the integrity of these aquatic ecosystems, but also in the water delivery infrastructure. Serious concerns in the Pacific Northwest, could be billions, will be billions of dollars should quagga mussels infest that infrastructure. And this has been a huge effort, and Karen has accomplished this really on a shoestring budget. So I want to thank John and Karen in particular for her efforts in this program. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Director Rosley, and thank you again from the commission, Karen. I think at this time we'll take a break for lunch. What is the flavor of the commission on time? Because by our agenda, our tour isn't until at least 4:30, so that gives us plenty of time, I believe, after lunch for our items. So hour and 15 minutes? Okay, we will take a lunch break until 1:15.
I was going to try to assist you.
I felt all this.
Unnerving or anything. Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Are we all going together? Yes. Okay. No, I would love to eat. So me too. Yes. All about food. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, no, they come together.
Two meat places in Jeremy. Oh, no, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thanks for and I didn't want to put the cat out of the bag. Okay, well, I didn't want to go seal it.
Figure out the password on it. We haven't told any of my colleagues.
I don't want to say we don't know how long it's going to be around, but I didn't think about it much in advance.